Hi, and welcome to my video review of the Suaoki multifunctional 24-volt jump starter. Again, I want to emphasize this is a 24-volt jump starter, not 12 volts, so it's for people that have RVs or larger trucks or other commercial vehicles that take the 24-volt batteries. If yours is a 12-volt battery, this will not work for you, so do not buy it. Now, on to the review. I received this about a week ago, and shortly after I got it, I filed a written review that said, hey, I'll be doing a video soon, but I just want to say I like it. It's a little bit expensive, and it needs to come with a box with the accessories or a carrying case. And immediately, like within the hour, after posting that review, not even emailing them, the seller got back to me and said, I really appreciate your comments. I'm going to work on both of those issues. I'm going to talk to the manufacturer. So it would not surprise me if the price came down a bit and or if there was a carrying case. And those were the only two issues I have against it. So my rating may go up if I get a strong feeling that those things are going to be fixed, because everything else is absolutely fantastic. And again, emphasizing 24 volts, not 12 volts. So if you're a regular car, this will not work for you. On to the review. First of all, the things I talked about as negatives, it's about $150 as of when I do this review. For what you get, I would expect to be just a little bit less, but I will say that the competing 24-volt products are in about this price range and don't look nearly as nice. So, you know what? It's probably worth a little bit more money to get something that actually works really nicely like this, looks good, and, seems very functional. So, maybe the price isn't so bad. Carrying case, this cardboard box right here is what all these accessories came in, and this is about the size of the case that you would need. So, if you're going to get your own case, you need something about this big. Could be soft-sided, could be a plastic box, I don't know. But anyway, you'll want something to put them in unless you want to stick with this. One of the things I actually really like about this is this itself doesn't need to be in a box. Why? Because it's actually not ugly. I've tested a fair number of those rectangular chargers, and while they work, they're not attractive. And while they have a flashlight, most of them, it's kind of hard to hold this giant rectangular block with a light on it when you're shining it somewhere trying to get something done. This is a much better designed product. And that's why I generally like it, aside from those two negatives. First, it has a handle, which means that it has a flashlight you can actually use. It's extremely bright, works very well, and I don't think I can demonstrate it in a way that's going to make much sense in this bright environment in which I'm filming this, but it's an extremely bright light. I shine it into the woods at night here. I can see super far very well. So this will do you very well for when you actually need it at night if something breaks down. Also, it has a SOS sort of function where you can have it shine out SOS. I tend to use it as a flashlight. On the side here, we've got a very nice emergency light / additional light. When you first turn it on, it gives you this extremely visible white and red flashing light. And if you press the button again, you get a very solid white light, which again puts an awful lot of light out that you're not going to see in this video, but it's more than enough to light up a room, to light up the interior of an RV, to light up the side of something. If you set this on the ground and want to change a tire or something, you've got an awful lot of flood lighting here, which is really nice. You can also, not that you would necessarily need to, but you can have both lights on at once. So they're independent of each other, and I think that's a nice function. One thing I would like to note is that you do need to shut this off before you close this. You can shut the lid down, the light will stay on, so just make sure it's off before you do that. Let's move on to other functions. When you get this, the first thing you're going to want to do is charge it. And along those lines, it comes with two chargers. One, they both plug into the charging area here. One is a standard outlet charger you use to charge it at home or if you have a regular outlet in your vehicle. The other is a car power port charger. Same type of plug on the end. Charge it the same way. I'm going to guess the in-home one charges it faster. This is better for keeping it charged, and that's something I would make a note of. If I were you, if you're going to keep this, I recommend that you actually make sure that you keep it charged, or at least make a note to yourself once a month, plug it in until it's fully charged, because they will slowly drain the charge. And if you actually do need to use it as a jumper, and you haven't charged it in a year, you might be very disappointed by what it can do. So anyway, you get those two pieces. You also get this nice cord here, which plugs into the accessory port here in the back, and once that's plugged in, you have a variety of tips which are included, which will plug onto here and let you plug in your generally laptops, which are either 12 or 19 volt. Be sure you read it and make sure the tip fits, but if they plug into it, it'll probably work the way it's supposed to. And those 12 or 19 volt laptops can be run off of this battery, which I'll explain in a second. In addition, you get a micro USB cable. I haven't undone this because I've got a million of them. It plugs into this top port, powers smartphones, powers anything else with a little USB cable, lightning cable, whatever. Something that plugs into USB port is going to be powered by it. On the side here, what we have is we have the ability to turn on the display to see if it's running and see what the charge is. You also have the ability to set that, to 12 or 19 volts. And what that 12 or 19 volt setting does is tells you what's coming out of here. So if you're going to plug in something via this long cable that's 19 volts or 12 volts, you want to set it to the right thing, and then you want to hit enter here, and it's going to set it to that. I think it already defaulted to shutting off after a second. And you can also turn the display off. So basically, all this really tells you is how much battery life you have left, whether this main output port is 12 or 19 volts, and that's pretty much it. So, in summary, the most important thing, the jumper cables. You get a really nice set of jumper cables. I've reviewed a number of jumper sets. A lot of times these cables have exposed metal. Other than the terminal clamps, these don't. These are solid plastic. You don't have to worry about any metal being exposed. They plug in one way and only one way, so there's no worry about them not plugging in correctly. Once they're plugged in, it's very clear, red and black, which terminals they go on. Also, very nice is the fact that, I think I showed you plugging this in, a lot of these sort of jumper cables it's not easy plugging in the jumper cable parts. These plug in simply. This will set right in the engine block. These go into the battery, no problem. And another very nice feature is when you're jumping your car, or truck, or RV rather, once you've got these connected and have it in the right mode to jump it, it will emit a beep. You then have 60 seconds during which time it's going to be applying power to try to get you to start your vehicle. It'll buzz when it's done. So you get an audible signal letting you know when it is ready to go, and after a minute it will shut down because you don't want to burn the battery out. So that's a very nice bit of functionality there. A lot of them you kind of plug and pray and hope they keep going. This one gives you audible signals as to whether or not it's working, and then once you've used it and you're all done, you simply take the jumper cables back off. Hopefully it's going to start, and you'll be fine. A couple other notes about the battery. First, 24,000 milliamp hours is a really big external battery. It's one of the biggest you can find. So when you're not jumping your car, rather RV or truck, you can use it to power a lot of things for a long time. It'll run these lights on both sides for a very long time. So if you just want to keep this around in case of power outages, that's a nice piece of functionality. The other thing I'm going to say, we're getting a storm here, it's pretty windy. Last thing I'll say is this. Any of these jumpers, 12 volt, 24 volt, whatever, they're like a spotter at the gym. They are great if you can't quite get that weight up the last time, and they'll help you with it. They're great even if you're fairly weak and can barely push on it. But they're not that great, neither is a spotter, if you or the battery is completely unable to do anything. So if your battery is 100% dead, it's just completely fried, odds are a tiny portable jumper like this is not going to get you out of where you want to be. So keep in mind that these are fantastic for what they do. I've got a lot of 12 volt ones. I had a car battery. It was terrible up until it finally died a few months ago, and I actually replaced it. And they're very good at starting it as long as there's a little bit of power left. If the battery's completely dead, it's probably not going to save you. So in that case, I think you'll probably be able to use the fact that it powers your smartphone so you can call for help and wait for it to arrive. Anyway, very nice, very easy to use, nice ergonomics, very nice surface, very comfortable to hold, nice set of accessories. The only things I got against it are I would like a container to put the accessories in, and it'd be kind of nice if it cost a little bit less. But it's the nicest jumper system I've ever gotten by far. The easiest to use, the one I'd expect to be able to use for things other than just jumping a battery, which you rarely do. It's a nice piece of insurance to keep around in case your battery is dead. It's especially nice to keep around in case you need lighting, which will last a long time, or just an external battery. So, recommend it. Thank you.